up, everybody? I'm Dr. Craig Engstrom, but you can just call me Craig because I'm an easygoing kind of guy, just like most faculty at Southern Illinois University Carbondale. Today with me, and you can see Jordan's agreeing to that, today I have Jordan Smearman, who is a graduating senior, double major in, I think it's radio television, correct?
Yep, dual degree, technically.
Yeah, dual degree. Oh, dual degree. So you have a BA and a VS, which is even harder than a dual major. And so radio, TV, and communication studies, which is why I decided to invite her on today. So to introduce her, I thought I would start off by showing her demo reel really quickly, and then she can say a few words about herself if she would like. So let's check this out.
Hi, I'm Jordan Smearman, and you're watching my demo reel. Welcome back to the esports arena. While we're excited to see you here, to keep you safe, there are some guidelines for you to follow. Once you're on the bus, all you have to do is scan your QR code and you're good to go. It's on us to make sure we're creating distance between ourselves and others when possible. Coming back to school is always fun, and I know you haven't seen your friends in a long time, but please.
All right, I thought I would stop it there just to show some of your social stuff. And if later I wanted to maybe show some of your evening edition clips or just show what it looks like, because it looks pretty awesome, like completely legitimate, you know, like you're on an awesome screen. Yeah. So anyway, is there anything you would like to add so our audience knows who you are?
Sure. So, I mean, you kind of described it all already. So dual degree student graduating in next week, which is so strange to me. I started at SIU and I'll be finishing at SIU, and I've just really loved my time here. I'm from a couple different areas. So I started when I started freshman year, I lived in Michigan, and then junior year, my family moved to Missouri, and then just this past summer, we moved to Tennessee. So I've been moving in the process, as well as going to school full time and doing a bunch of other things outside of class as well to just increase my education and my knowledge of everything. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, it sounds a little hectic, but okay. So you said you've done some things out of class. Let's try to be more specific. Like, what kind of things are you doing outside of class?
Oh boy. Okay. So the main things that I've been working on. So student employment is where I've been making some money and stuff like that while also going to school. And I've been a production assistant for the television and radio station, but WSIU, that's a bit on campus. And I was doing some things for different programs, both in the radio side and the television side. So on the radio side, I've been just updating daily promos for our different NPR stations, because WSIU is a PBS and NPR affiliate station here in Southern Illinois. So I do that. I also do a noon newscast every day at 12:04. Not today, obviously, but usually during the weekdays. And then for the TV side, I've done stuff for their student-run newscast, River Region Evening Edition. I've done every job under the sun in that area. And then I've also been a senior coordinating producer for the game show for Scholastic HiQ, where I've made media questions. I've contacted local high schools from around Southern Illinois and planned the game show for a 32-team style tournament. So and I do that in the fall and then make the questions in the spring. So that's what I've been doing. And then I also this year, I also started doing a internship with the Student Affairs Media team at the Student Center at SIU as their social media coordinator, just trying to gain some other experience in media and learning about how to plan social media, how to actually interact with your audience, and then create content for that as well. So lots of
and that's a lot. It's like you just listed like what some people might do in a career, I think.
Yes.
But this is all very nice, and this is how I roped you into actually doing this, because you're doing this internship type thing for a practicum credit, and so you've been reading a book, doing some online course type stuff, and just getting experience, which is something that I think makes our program really awesome, is that we do sort of encourage students to get a lot of practical experience and reward them with credits for that. So I think you've kind of shifted a little bit from our radio television side and really are enjoying the social media side. So you are graduating, as you said. What is next for you?
So I'm changing things a little bit again after graduation. as if I haven't changed enough already. So I will be moving to Orlando, Florida. I have a job lined up with a sports technology company called FlightScope. They specialize in mainly golf is their biggest sport that they're working on right now, but they want to expand into other sports too. But they analyze your swing and tell you how to improve your golf game. And they also do this with baseball, softball, tennis, and they're trying to expand into some other sports as well, such as cricket and American football. So I will be working for them as a marketing coordinator. I will be helping out the marketing manager and some of the other people in the marketing department just with the projects that they're doing right now, as well as working with the social media coordinator that they hired too recently. And yes, that's their website. As you can see, mainly golf is what they're working on, but they do have some other sports. And so I will be just helping out with that, as well as kind of spearheading and pioneering some of my own projects, because they are planning on expanding to some longer range videos for social media and possibly broadcast as well. So that's what I will be doing. I'll be moving to Orlando in about 3 weeks, and then starting June 1st. So that's where I'll end up.
That's awesome. I mean, maybe I'm a little biased, but just knowing your background, it sounds like they hired the right person for the job, given where they're shifting. So that's awesome. Yeah. Hopefully you'll be in a director level role in like 3 years, like one of our other recent graduates that we had on recently with one of our live streams as well. So everyone's experience is a little different. So, and I think you've hit a little bit on this, like what your journey has been, but if there's anything specific to your academic journey you'd like to share, that would be awesome.
Okay. So, this has changed quite a bit over the 4 years. So I'm
sensing a theme here. You love change.
I started SIU actually as a cinema and photography major. I thought I wanted to be a film editor turned director and go to Hollywood and win an Oscar and work on these big shot films. And then about 6 weeks in, I realized I absolutely hated film and I hated film production, and it was just not for me.
Those are fighting words.
I can respect it as a field. I have a lot of friends who are still CP majors, but I realized that I liked the live broadcast aspect of media more. And so I decided to switch over to RTD. And I started that spring semester, my freshman year. And so that's what I was doing. And then I added communication as a minor. But then what happened was spring semester, my sophomore year, I had advanced public speaking with Caleb McKinley-Porty. And after our first speech, he pulled me aside and he was like, you need to be a part of this department, because the speech that you gave was graduate level. It's things that this department needs and just the communications field needs. So I highly suggest either switching majors or doing a double major. And after that conversation, I realized how much I actually enjoyed communication, and I thought it could be, it would give me a leg up in the career industry when I started looking for jobs, or I could be a backup in case the radio thing didn't really work out. And so I decided to double major. And actually, Craig, I met with you. I don't know if you remember that, all of 2 years ago. And then it turned out that I would have to be a dual degree student, because my radio television degree is a Bachelor of Arts and comm is a Bachelor of Science. So then I added a second degree and haven't looked back since. So I've changed a little bit throughout. I've still stayed in the media industry, but I added that communication aspect really just to give that. I have the hands-on experience from the media as well as the theoretical and approaches in communication. And I wanted to combine those two. And that's kind of where I ended up with social media and now more on the marketing side.
That's awesome. So 3 things to this, I think. One is that's awesome that Caleb did that. And in fact, just wanted to give him a shout out and kudos for that. I keep stressing to my colleagues how actually this is the best way for us to recruit students into the major is just to tell like folks that they would really make good communication majors. So the second thing is, you said that you thought that it would help you in your career. Do you feel like having the CMST background now did help you in landing this first job in any way?
Oh, definitely. I think it was because so when I actually applied for this job and I was interviewing with FlightScope, I was applying for their social media position. And I was trying to talk to them about it. It's just like, I know interpersonal communication, I took that. I'm in small group right now. And I also took interviewing last fall. So this past fall, I should say. And so that helped me with the interviews and things and just kind of studying business and organizational communication, the classes that you taught. I do think it definitely helped me because it's giving me a little bit of best of both worlds, I think. So it's not just I only have these specializations in media. I also understand communication, and I can apply this to the job and to the media. And because I had that experience, and also they really liked me in the interviews, they offered me the marketing coordinator position. They made that position specifically for me because they were so impressed with it. Yeah. So it was a huge honor, and I was not expecting it at all in that third interview, but they really wanted me to be a part of this team. And I think having a little bit of both, like I said, best of both worlds, it really helped give me a leg up in the career field.
Yeah. And I think it'll help you with pivoting. I mean, I don't think you need any help with that because you seem to pivot a lot anyway. But the future, right? I mean, if you're too technical, automation might replace you. So having that sort of humanities communication side, I think that's not just people in communication saying this, but like MIT, faculty who are in the tech fields saying that it's important to really beef up on your interpersonal communication. And I will let Josh Houston know that you probably learned a lot from his interviewing class.
Yes, I definitely did.
That helped in that interview. So the third thing, I didn't forget the third thing is doing the dual degree dual degree is not easy. And I do recall, we worked pretty hard to like really figure out what courses you need to take and how we could double count things to make it possible for you to do it in a short time frame. So yeah, I'm just trying to promote our program a little bit in case anybody stops by this at some point in the future. So I think the question is like, how do you manage all of that time then? For some students, they're probably very intimidated at just your history.
I was too. I'll be honest. Looking back at it now, I realize how the heck did I do all of that in these past 3 years, especially being, 18 years old and 9 hours away from home and being no adult supervision. But what I kind of realized throughout college, especially my freshman year, because I wasn't really doing a lot my freshman year. I was just kind of going to class, eating, and then going right to my dorm room. But what I ended up doing was I realized how much more free time throughout the day college students have, because you're not stuck, like in high school, you're not stuck in a building from, 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning to 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Like you have some time in between. And sophomore year is when I really started to try to get more involved with things just so I can make more friends and also just expand and start gaining that professional experience. And I started doing things. So I was a part of River Region all 4 days during the week. I came in when I could, and then usually after class, because we didn't actually air until about 5 p.m. So I didn't have to crew for production, had to get there at 4, and then anchors were there at 4, and then you just went off and did it, and you were done by 6. So I was kind of used to that. And also because I was getting paid for it too, since I was a student employee, like it was another incentive to just actually go and participate in these things. And then junior year, I decided to apply for an executive position. That's how I became sports director for River Region. And I realized how time consuming that could be, because if I wasn't in class, or if I wasn't eating, or just if I wasn't in class, I was in the newsroom. So I basically lived in the communications building all junior year up until COVID hit. And that I just realized like how time consuming it can be, and all the things that I was doing. And it did take a toll. I was very stressed out junior year, especially in the fall. I was much more stressed than I thought I would like to, definitely than I should have been. But it's more of just trying to manage everything and just kind of narrowing down exactly what I liked and what I didn't like. So after that, I realized I didn't really want to do sports directing anymore. So that's why going into senior year, I wanted to kind of change up what I was doing. I took a step back from River Region. I was still part of it, but not as included as I was with it. And that's when I found the social media stuff, because I was like, I want to try something new, gain some more experience, something that's not WSIU related, and just go from there. And then I could also start balancing out my time as well. And it did help too that I only had to take 4 classes these past 2 semesters instead of 5 like I was doing, because I was able to, with summer courses and things like that, I was able to actually lessen my course load and just go from there and work a little bit, and then also do the internship and just keep on trucking, I guess.
That's funny. Keep on trucking. Yeah. So did you use any like specific apps or anything to kind of help manage your calendar? Like that sounds insane.
I should have. I definitely.
Wait, what did you learn in business comm?
I know. I had a planner. So I always buy a planner every single year, and I write down the things that I would do. And I also tried to spread it out. So I'd be like, okay, Monday I'll get this class homework done for the week. And then Tuesday I'll do this class. And then Wednesday I have a lecture. So I'll do that. So, but it wasn't really until this year that I really started to use a planner, because I used to be the type of person that would buy a planner and then have all of my good intentions to actually use it. And then I would do it for about a month. And then all of a sudden I would just forget it. And it would all be like in my head as a planner. But this year I really tried to like plan it all out and just be like, okay, this is the things that I have to get done this week. And then it had nice little check boxes. So I felt completed when I did that. And then also you introduced me to Microsoft To Do this semester. And I really liked how that one worked as well, because it was sending me reminders being like, hey, don't forget this is due today. And so I definitely plan on using that as well in the future. I just feel I personally, like, I'm the type of person that remembers things better if I write them down. So instead of using like an app or something, like most of the time, if I put it down somewhere, I'll remember it. But other times I'll have like random reminders or notes in my phone and be like, I have no idea where this came from. And so that's why I like to write things down. But definitely, I think getting an app.
As you get busier, you've got to free up that attention space, And so anyway, Microsoft To Do, I'm glad that you gave a little shout out to it. It's just awesome. And it's a great teaching tool. And I know if anybody's watching this far into it, they'll be like, oh, there's Craig with his like Microsoft evangelicalism. Like always on it. All right. So you kind of started talking about classes. What were some of your favorites?
Oh God. Okay. So I have favorite classes, partly because of the teacher and then also partly because of the content. So on the radio television side, two of my favorite classes were taught by Jenny Johnson, now Jenny Pape. It was my sound mixing class that I had spring semester, sophomore year. Yep. And then also sound art class, which I had fall semester, junior year. And I really like sound mixing because this was kind of like my first audio-based class that fit with my specialization. And I really started to kind of explore and learn more about the software, Avid Pro Tools. I started learning about that. And I actually kind of felt like I was professional, being like, look at me. I'm actually I know how this program works. And I know how to operate it. And that was really cool. And I just loved all the projects that we did for that class. And then sound art, I really enjoyed because it was looking at sound in a different way. And instead of just, your basic ones, like for doing it for film, like sound design or doing like a podcast or something like that, this was actually a little bit more experimental. And it challenged me because I'm much more of a logical thinker and I didn't really understand how to be experimental. So it was definitely a challenge, but it was a fun challenge. And I also got to participate in the end of the year project that we did, end of the semester project, which was we made soundscapes, which is, a different environment created by the sound. So you can kind of picture yourself there. And we stuck them in these clouds that we made, and people could actually stick their head inside the cloud, and then they'd be surrounded by this different seasons. We did 4 clouds, so each one for a different season, different time of the year. And it was just so awesome to be a part of that and to actually install it in the communications building. And I think we had 50 or 75 people turn up for it for opening night of the project, the installation, the art piece. And it was just so cool to actually be a part of that and to see people enjoying it and seeing the things that I worked on were enjoyed by not only just SIU students, but also the Carbondale community. So those two definitely. And then also I had a music business class with her too, where we took 3 different trips to Nashville, Tennessee. And that was really cool as well, to just kind of work with music professionals that were already in the field and learn about how they were doing in the industry and what it's like to work in the industry after graduation. So those would be my radio television ones. And then communication side, I really did enjoy advanced public speaking. Caleb was a great teacher, and I've always been kind of sad that I only had the one class with him, but I really enjoyed the way that he taught, and I liked how much he believed in his students. That was something that I really saw, not only just when he believed in me and suggested that I become a comm major, but also with the other students, like even the topics that could have been controversial or not everyone agreed with, like he could see their point of view and could still encourage them and be like, that was a really good speech. And so I really enjoyed that class. I really enjoyed interviewing. I thought that was something that I took a lot of information from. I also had interpersonal communication with Dr. Todd Graham, and I absolutely loved that class too. I learned so much about it, and it made so much sense to me, especially because I was that's when COVID hit, and I had to move back in with my parents for the second half of the semester, and of learning, taking that interpersonal skills and applying it to how to live with my parents again. That really helped. And and also the business and organizational communication case studies class that you taught last summer. I really enjoyed that too, because what I really enjoyed about it was how it was actual like real life companies that we were looking at and analyzing. And I remember telling my parents then, I was like, I could see myself doing this as a job, like going into a company, assessing the problems, coming up with solutions, and going from there. And I think those were all the ones that like really impacted me, and something that I learned, or just something that the professors just really helped me go along with.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
It sounds like all these courses too had a really nice experiential side to them. So love to hear that. And by the way, you can go into this flight scope and you're going to be assessing problems. It's going to be on the marketing side. And so you will be doing that for a living and offering those solutions. So good for you. Now, of course, a college experience is not just about classes. What do you do outside of the classroom? What are some of your most memorable experiences in that realm?
Okay, so a lot of them came from the extracurriculars. So River Region was a huge part of my college experience, something that I will always love and will always cherish, as well as being a part of High Q, because I got to not only produce the show, I got to direct it, and I designed the set that the students are using now, which was an amazing opportunity. So I'll always be thankful for everything that WSIU gave me. They also gave me some other opportunities too. So my freshman year, I actually got to drive up to Rockford, Illinois, and we filmed the Lincoln Academy ceremony with laureates and stuff. And George Lucas was actually there. His wife was getting nominated, and she received an award. So I was like not even 5 feet. I was like 3 feet from George Lucas, and that was just so cool to me. My inner Star Wars nerd was freaking out about it. And so I did that freshman year. And then also with the Student Center, that happened this year, was I got to host an office-themed virtual trivia, of course, event with Brian Baumgartner, who played Kevin on the actual show, on the US version of The Office. So I got to interact with him. I was the one that was moderating it, so I asked him the questions that students were asking, and I got to talk to him beforehand and afterwards. And it was just such a cool experience to know that I could do those things, and that our school was offering students these opportunities. So those are probably some of my top two highlights. And then everything else, like, I just was trying to keep up with hobbies and things like that. I love to bake and draw, and I was trying to do those as much as I could, and then just go from there. And I also started a small business this past year too, so where I crochet bees and I sell them, and 10% of each sale goes to a different charity every month. And it's just something that I'd like to do on the side, is just to keep myself focused.
Yeah, we'll put links in the descriptions to all of the things that you're doing. So I think the bees you're selling on your Instagram, is that right? Or is it an Etsy store? And
Instagram and Facebook. And then I'm trying to think about starting a website for that. I'm just trying to figure out the logistics of it all and seeing how that could work. But so far, just Instagram and Facebook.
Now, speaking of websites, I'll put a link to the description. Sharing the screen is harder on this than I thought it would be, so I'm not going to share your screen to your website. But just one thing we did for you as a department to help you sort of get that out was to purchase the domain name for you and a subscription, so you can host the site for a year. So this is something we do for our students, as when we can, to try to help them. Especially with an award we have, which is the Marvin Kleinau Undergraduate Development Fund. Thank you to all the people who donate to that. Now, I am going to share your LinkedIn, because I think that's Star Wars there. Is that right? Is that okay?
That's Galaxy's Edge.
So she's legit, like, nerdy, I guess, because when I saw that, I was like, okay. But you also fooled me, because when I first read your thing, I thought you said you met George Lucas, but this almost meeting him, I don't know.
They told us that we weren't allowed to actually interact with him, and I was really sad, because I just wanted to go up and be like, thank you for what you created. But no, I got to walk by him and try to say something about how I'm in media, but I don't think you really paid attention. But it's okay.
Well, you got closer than a lot of people, so you're definitely, excited a lot of people who love the Star Wars franchise just by getting so close. And it is cool, that Kevin thing from The Office, that was awesome. So I love that SIU is doing a lot of those cool things for students. All right, so in wrapping this sort of up, what would you tell your freshman year self if you would be able to go back to that individual 4 years ago?
Oh, geez. Okay. So I've been trying to think about this since before the stream and just thinking about what I would want to tell my freshman year self. And I would just say it's okay to be assertive and to actually tell people what you want and what you're not okay with, and to set boundaries. That's something that I've really tried to develop over the 4 years as I've become more of an adult, I guess. I'm only 21, so I don't know if I qualify as a full-fledged adult yet, but I also just, so to be more assertive and it's okay to put yourself out there. Like I said earlier, I was 9 hours away from home. I didn't have my family. They were all around. My friends went to school back in Michigan or New York. So I didn't have them either. And I was kind of all alone. And I kind of shut myself into my room. Like I had some friends and stuff on my floor, but I didn't really interact with people in River Region. I just showed up and then I went back to my dorm. And I didn't really try to put myself out there. And I think I wish I would have, like, if I could go back to my freshman year self and just say, hey, it's okay to put yourself out there, and it's okay to try new things. I mean, this is college. This is something that, is going to be the next 4 years, and try something new, do something different. Like, you don't have to shut yourself in, or, I mean, you don't have to completely reinvent yourself either, but you can develop yourself and evolve into a better version than what you were in high school. Like, it doesn't just have to be, work and then homework and then repeat. Like, it's college. It's a new experience, and it's something to try. And so try everything. And I think that was what really helped me, was because I signed up for a ton of RSOs at the very beginning, and I only stuck with 2, but then I didn't realize that I could do the social media stuff or things like that. And that was also a little bit of networking too, because I knew my boss beforehand, and then she brought me on. And so it's just, putting yourself out there and trying new things, I think really would have helped me. Because also something too is that because I shut myself in and I was feeling a little bit lonely, I considered transferring after my freshman year, because I was just like, I don't know if this is right for me. Yes, lots of things happened.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah.
I said, you know what? No, I'm going to give it one more semester, one more year. I'll come back, give it a better college try. And I absolutely loved it. So I think if I just put myself out there more, I would have had a much more fun freshman year. I still enjoyed it. Just, it wasn't probably as best as it could have been.
Yeah, that's really surprising to me. I mean, I didn't anticipate any of those answers, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, I guess when you see students in classes, especially someone like you that, I mean, maybe I was catching you also when you were already less, I guess, introverted. I don't even know if that's the right word for that, but just more outgoing or whatever, and making decisions on your own to join things. Maybe that's what I saw you, but I'm totally shocked to hear that you were the type of person just to go and kind of, go to one place, go back to your dorm room or residence hall and stay there. So quite surprising. And I think that it's awesome that you didn't transfer. And I think you've had an amazing experience here. It sounds like. So yeah, glad that you stayed. And I just want to thank you so much for contributing so much to the SIU community, both on campus and off campus. Truly, people speak very highly of you. So thanks for giving me the time today to share your story with other students. Before we sign off, any last word?
I just, I love Carbondale. I love SIU. I'm so happy that I stayed. I'm so happy that I can tell people I went to this university and be like, this is all that I've done, because, it's, I told people from Michigan where I was going, and they were like, where? And it's just like, come on. Like, I think SIU is kind of a hidden gem. And I really think if people apply themselves and take all the resources that this college offers, then they can be as successful, or even as me, or even more successful. And I just absolutely love it. And hopefully I'll be able to visit more often in the future, but I'm very, very proud of
back. Yeah.
Very
love
happy
to have you back.
Very happy to be
All
a
right.
Saluki. Always.
Awesome. Now we do have a catchphrase, so we'll count down to 3, so we're on time here, and that will terminate the stream. So you know what the phrase is. So 1, 2, 3. Once a Saluki,
Always a Saluki.
always a Saluki. Take care, everybody.
Bye.